Welcome to my film review of Angel Has Fallen. So this is the latest in a series. We've had Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen. Is this the third? Or has there been another one? Not a huge fan of this series. I don't know why. I remember my sister was like, "Have you not seen Olympus Has Fallen? It's awesome." And I don't remember being that impressed when I watched it. And then when London Had Fallen had come out, this is just to set the scene so you know how much I'm a fan of the series. When London Has Fallen come out, I'm from Britain, so London, yay, it's like a local movie. And I don't remember much about the movie other than feeling disappointed. And let's put it this way, I'm a huge movie fan. If I like a movie, it's like listening to a song. I will watch it again and again and again and again and again. And I've never seen any of the Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen more than once. So I'm clearly not a huge fan. However, this was a very enjoyable film. So if you're a fan of the series, I think you'll really like this. Now, the one thing I was thinking of when I was watching this movie was it reminded me a bit of the series 24. Now, I don't watch series. Haven't seen, all these old ones that everyone's seen. I haven't even seen that one with the Vikings, Thor, whatever it's called. I'm a movie guy, don't do series. But 24 was like the best series ever. I absolutely loved it. And so therefore it's a pretty big compliment to say that this movie reminded me of the 24 series. But what I didn't like about the movie was, firstly I was very tired when I watched this. Sometimes when you're in the cinema and you're knackered and you think, God, I should just be at home in bed. It was kind of one of those days, so that could influence my enjoyment a little bit. I did kind of feel like I was looking forward to getting out of the cinema, which is never a good vibe to be in when you're at the movies. But what it was, I think, was although the subject matter was very enjoyable because it reminded me of 24, it didn't have much of a fresh, original feel to it. And therefore it was a little bit like, oh, I know what's going on here. It didn't feel like anything particularly surprising happened. I don't know, maybe it did, but maybe it was just me kind of thinking, yeah, I've kind of seen all this before. So in that regard, you could be like, oh, you didn't enjoy it, you didn't have a good experience. But then when I actually reflect on the movie as a whole, at one point I was thinking I was going to give it a 7.7. And then I've kind of dropped it down to a 7.5. So 7.5 out of 10, it's a decent score. A 7 out of 10 is a damn good score. So a 7.5 out of 10 is definitely a good score. But I wouldn't be surprised if some people that really love Gerard Butler and really love the series would give this maybe an 8.5. It does have the potential to be that good, but for me it was just lacking a little bit of originality. Felt like we've heard this story told quite a few times before. But nevertheless, it was a great movie to see at the cinema. Early on particularly, there's spectacular scenes that are just brilliant to see in the cinema. Not just for the visual aspect of what's going on in the scene, but the volume, the loudness, speakers either side of you, brilliant. So it's definitely worth going and catching this flick at the cinema. Right now there's not a great deal out at the cinema. So if you're looking for something, when I looked through the list, this was top of the list easily. It was like, okay, what's out right now? Angel Has Fallen, clearly the biggest blockbuster out there right now. It's not brilliant, but it's definitely worth seeing at the cinema. I would try and see it on the cheap because personally, I've got the Cineworld Pass. I can go for free as many times as I want for the fixed fee, so it didn't really cost me anything to see this movie. But if I'd paid £10 on a weekend, I might be thinking, ooh, that wasn't the best £10 I've ever spent. But if you could go on a buy one get one free on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, you got no grumble at all. Definitely worth paying a fiver to see this at the cinema. So I always like to give you some advice on how much is worth spending on this movie. Don't bother seeing it in the 4DX seats or the IMAX. Just see it cheap, see it standard. It's decent, but it's not whoa, best movie out ever sort of thing. So it reminded me of 24. That's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing not to see the trailer. I felt like the trailer probably gave away too much of the story. Maybe that was griping on me a little bit. I couldn't help but see the trailer because it's such a big movie that it's always on at the cinema. And it did feel like the trailer tells you the story And then the cinema is just, okay, so here's what happens in between the bits that you already know, which is a little bit disappointing, because I like to not know what's going to happen. And the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I know I know what's coming, I know what's happened because of the damn trailer. So if you can, avoid the trailer. You don't need to see the trailer to decide whether this is the kind of movie you want to see. Come to my reviews to decide whether this is the kind of movie you want to see. And like I say, if you like action scenes, if you like Gerard Butler, if you want to go and see a action movie, go and see this. It's perfectly good. What I also liked about it was Gerard Butler, big, strong, tough guy. He's the Hollywood hard ass. And this had a little tickly flavour of mental health topical discussion, which was quite nice. I think that's something that, in the last few years we've really seen become less stigmatised, more talked about. So I love to see that in movies, especially when it's movies with very respectable actors, that people look up to. So excellent, well done movie guys for that. What more can I say? I think that's pretty much all I have to say about the movie. It's decent, it's worth a watch. 7.5 out of 10. It's not a bad review. It's definitely an enjoyable cinematic blockbuster type movie. It's just not brilliant, but it's good. So I'm going to watch this movie. I don't think I've got anything else I need to cover. Yeah, I've said all I need to say about this movie, so I hope you found it useful. Thanks for listening. Check out this movie. Let me know what you think. Are you a big fan of the first two movies? How does this compare? Is it better, worse? I can't even remember what happens in the first two. Other than I think I remember finding Gerard Butler a little bit annoying. I don't know why, because I loved him in that first movie where he tortures a guy and gets revenge. You know what I mean? So anyway, I enjoyed the movie, but I was tired. I didn't enjoy it a large amount, but it was worth seeing at the cinema. So check it out. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening to the review, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.